Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can create an Excel table, okay? And I'll also be running through the benefits of using Excel tables in Excel. Now, before we start running into the benefits of the Excel tables, I think it will be best if I just show you how to create an Excel table first. And then as I go through the different features of the Excel table, I'll also cover the benefits as well, which is what you can see in this blue table here. All right. So to create an Excel table, you would first select your cell range where you want to create the table. Okay, so I'm just going to select, so I'm going to start from row 4 and I'm just going to select 5 columns here. Okay, so I want my table to have 5 columns, and then I'm just going to include 2 rows. Okay, so it's going to be a small table. Okay, which will have 5 columns and just 2 rows. All right, so once you've selected your cell range, you would then go up to the Insert tab, and then you would go to the Tables group, and here you would click on the Table command. Okay, so there is a shortcut. You can actually just press the Control key plus T, and that will open up the table box. So, or alternatively, you can just click on Table here. Okay, so once you click on Table, this opens up a Create Table box for you. Now, the first field you'll see is it will have the cell range in there. Okay, so that's basically based on what the cells that you've highlighted. Okay, so it will put the cell range in there. And I would also recommend that you tick this box here, this check box here, where it says My Table has headers. So if you tick this box, that will just ensure that the top row of your table has headers. Okay, they will be classed as the headers of your table, right? So you would then click OK, and there you go. So that's an Excel table. Okay, the top row, as you can see, is the headers. That's why you can see it says column 1, column 2, column 3, and we can rename these headings, right? And then the next row here is where we would enter our data. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight all 5 columns, okay, to include that table. And I'm just going to increase the width of these columns and just make them the same size. So what you can do is if you select all the columns, you can just right click on your selection, and then in this menu, you can go down to column width. Okay, so this is another way of, how to increase the column width and ensure that they're all the same size. So you can click on column width. This will open up this little box here, column width box, and then you would just put a figure in there. Now currently the column width for all of these 5 columns is 9.67. I'm just going to increase that slightly, so I'm just going to pick a random number. We'll do let's do 14. Okay, and then click OK. There you go. So it's increased the width of all 5 columns. Okay, which is perfect. And I'm also going to just go and increase the font size as well so that you guys can see the text better. Okay, so we'll make it font size 14. All right, so that's my Excel table. Now I want to rename my headers. So it's pretty simple. All you do is you just double click into the first cell, okay, and then you just highlight it, delete column 1, and then put in a new title or a new header. So I'm just going to put in some random headings. So we'll put date. In the next one, I'll just put category. Okay, and then in this one, we'll just put food item. We'll put quantity here. And then in column 5, we'll name that one price. Okay, so that's how you would rename your headers. Okay, now we'll now start running through the benefits that I've listed here, okay, one by one, and I'll show you that in action as well so that you can understand what I mean. So the first benefit that I've listed here is that an Excel table always has sort and filter fields. So if you look at this table here, you'll notice that there's drop-down fields, okay, on the right of each column, and that's added automatically. Okay, I've not added these filter fields. So if you click on the drop-down, you'll see that you've got the sort and the filter commands there, so you can sort the data and filter it. Now, I did do a separate video on sorting and filtering data in Excel, so I'll put a link to that video in the description below. Okay, so if you haven't already seen that video, you can watch that one too on my channel. So that's the benefit. So you don't have to manually add these filters. These filters are already added in there for you, okay, and it just helps you to organize your data and sort your data in that table, okay. So that's the first benefit. And also, if you add extra columns, so say for example, I wanted to add an extra column on the left of column E. Let me show you. Okay, so if I just select column E, right click, and then go down to insert, okay, it's added an extra column, as you can see. But the benefit here is that, when you add an extra column, the formatting remains. So you don't have to worry about formatting that column, to the same font size, to the same font style. You don't have to, format the font, the color of that, of those cells. It basically takes on the same formatting of the Excel table, right? So here, I didn't have to worry about increasing the font size to size 14 like I did before. It's done it for me automatically. It's added the drop-down field for me automatically as well. So sometimes, when you're working with data and you add extra columns, sometimes you forget to add these filter fields in. And that can sometimes mess up your data when you start sorting and filtering your data. But in Excel tables, okay, it takes care of all of these features for you, okay? So all you have to do is just insert the extra column or the extra row and, continue with entering your data. So you don't have to worry about formatting and so on. So here, I'm just going to rename that one. Okay, so I'm just going to rename that one to price. And then the last one, we can rename that to total sale made. Okay. So, so that's the first benefit, that it adds sort and filter fields for you automatically. The second benefit is that is the table range. Okay, now what I mean by that is the table range expands and shrinks automatically as you add or remove rows of data. So as you can see here, you can see I've got only one row here to add data in that Excel table. So I'm just going to put in some random data there. So we'll just put bars in there, and then I'll put cereal in there. Quantity, let's just put 2. Price, let's put 3. And then total sale, we'll just put 6. Okay. Now I'm going to highlight all of these columns and just left align the text to the left, like so. Okay. And I will also highlight columns E and F and just change the formatting of this. So I will apply a number format and change that into a currency, okay, because that's the correct format for that. Okay, perfect. So I've entered my first row of data, okay, but I don't have any more rows in that table. Now you don't have to worry about, formatting the rest of the rows, because what happens is when you enter data in the next row, so if I just put in the same date in the next row and just click into the next cell, you'll see that the table expands automatically. Okay, and it follows the same format. And that's what, and it will keep expanding as you add more data. All right, so I'm just going to put the same thing in, bars, cereal, and then we'll just select number 4 for the quantity, $3, and then $12. Okay, and that's it. So that's what I mean by one of the benefits is the table range. The table range expands and shrinks as you add or remove more data. Now what you can do is you could probably see a little green triangle at the bottom right hand corner of that table. So if you hover your mouse over that until you see, this black double arrow, so you can click and hold, okay, and then you can drag that down. And as you drag it down, this is another way of expanding your table. There you go. Okay, so you can expand it in that way as well. The third benefit is that you get a choice of different table styles. Okay, so at the moment you can see, my table style is sort of a blue color, okay, and the rows are banded colors. So, it follows a format where you have a light blue row, then it's total white, then it's blue again, then it's white. So, they alternate. You can actually change the style, okay, to make it, if you wanted to make it look a little bit different. So what you would do is if you just select any cell in that table, you'll then see a tab at the top called Table Design. So if you click into Table Design, you will then see a Table Styles group, and you can then select from these available options. So if I just click on this drop down arrow, okay, this will expand my table designs, and then you'll see lots of different options that you can go for. So if you hover your mouse over each one, you can actually see a preview of that design on the left. So that's grey color, that's like a yellowy orangey color, blue, green. So you can go for sort of, this sort of style. There's different styles as well. There's that kind of style as well that you can go for. It really depends on what you prefer. If you go down a bit, there's a darker style as well. So you can go for this kind of style as well. Okay, so you've got many options. And it really just depends on what you prefer. Okay, you can actually go for a blank option as well. So if you go for the first one, that's a light option, a light style, without any color. Or you can, increase the style a little bit and have banded rows again. Okay, so yeah, it's up to you. It's your preference. If you want to keep it nice and simple, you can go for this white table style as well, which doesn't have banded rows. Okay, the rows are sort of all white, except for the headers, of course. The headers at the top are black. Okay, so if I click on that one, so yeah, so you get a choice of different table styles. Okay, the third thing is that you can actually assign a name to this table, right? Now, to assign a name, okay, what you would do is if you click on on any cell in the table, and then go to the Table Design tab, you'll see right at the start in the Properties group, there's a table name field. Okay, now currently it automatically gives it a name. Okay, so for this table it's table 5, but you can rename it. So I can rename that to something appropriate. So when you're doing a table name, you need to make sure that there are no spaces, right? So food, you can have it all has one word. So I'm going to call this food sales. So you can have this has just one word. If you wanted to separate the words, I suppose what you could do is in between the words, you can put maybe like a dash or a hyphen, yeah, a dash or an underscore like this. Okay. And then if you click into any cell, there you go. Okay, so that is now saved as the table name is saved as food sales. All right. So that's how you can assign a name to the table. Now, the benefit of having a table name is when you start using formulas. So when you start using formulas, instead of, referencing a cell range, you can use the table name in the formula, which can be, which can make things so much easier. So that's the benefit that I see of table names, and you'll see why that's an advantage when I do videos on formulas going forward. Okay, so yeah, so the fourth benefit there is that you can assign it a name. And then the fifth benefit there, which again, I'll be doing videos on pivot tables, but having Excel table or putting your data in an Excel table is great for pivot tables. Okay, it's an excellent source for a pivot table, because what that means is that you don't have to readjust the range when you add or remove data. Okay, now you'll know what I mean when I do a video on pivot table, which I will do later. Okay, but there are many benefits of Excel tables, and I've just highlighted the main ones. So that's it for this video. I know it's been a bit, it's ended up being a bit of a long video, and that was just because there was a lot of explanation. So I hope that's helped. If it's been useful, then please do like and share the video so that it can reach out to more people. And you may want to consider subscribing to the channel, because I am posting new content on a daily basis. Okay, so that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you. Goodbye.